Hello students, welcome back. Today I am Anuradha from Ardent Progressive School going to start another topic of the same chapter that we were discussing in the last class, photosynthesis in higher plants. Okay, so in this chapter already we have discussed about few of topics, like we have done that what are the discoveries related to the photosynthesis. Then we have discussed about the site of photosynthesis, where exactly photosynthesis is happening, like the chloroplast. So here we have done all the structure of the chloroplast, how the reaction is going to happen here. Okay, then we have covered about the simple thing or the processes, we can say, which takes place in the photosynthesis, like light reaction and dark reaction. Till now we only know that photosynthesis is what? It is the combination of carbon dioxide, water in presence of chlorophyll. What is happening? It is, there will be a C6H12O6 synthesis. Okay, but here we will come to know that how there will be breakdown of this carbon dioxide, how there will be breakdown of this water molecule, and due to this what is happening, there will be formation of glucose, or we can say plant can store this glucose in form of starch. Okay, so whole this process of photosynthesis is, it is happening in two steps. What are they? Light reaction and dark reaction. All right, so here photosynthesis, light reaction and dark reaction, what we have discussed in light reaction, it means that it is totally dependent on the light. Okay, if light will not be there, then this reaction will not be going to take place. Okay, if I will talk about the dark reaction, again it doesn't mean that it is happening in the dark condition or in the night condition. The only thing which relates from this dark reaction is that whatever the things which is synthesizing in the light reaction, they will be utilized in the dark reaction. Okay, otherwise both the reaction takes place in the light only. If there will be no light reaction, then there will be no formation of anything in the dark reaction. And we have done that in light reaction, what is happening here, there will be excitation of electron, or mainly we can say splitting of water molecule, right? And due to the splitting of water molecule, what is happening, there will be removal of hydrogen ion as well as the oxygen from here. And from the previous discoveries, we have concluded that the oxygen which is releasing outside the plant, they are coming from where? From the splitting of water. Or we cannot say that it is coming from the CO2. Why? Because CO2 is not responsible for releasing any oxygen to the environment. Okay, so here in the dark reaction, what is going to happen, whatever the energy is going to release from this light reaction, like ATP, NADPH, all they will get utilized in the dark reaction, right? And why they are utilizing this dark reaction? They are utilizing because to synthesize the glucose molecules. Along with this, they are using the CO2. Along with, they are using the CO2 which is coming from the outside. So the thing which is coming from the outside, like CO2, it will combine where? In this dark reaction with the help of ATP and NADPH released by the light reaction. If light will not be there, okay, so there will be no formation of ATP, and there will be no splitting of water molecule also. So ultimately both are dependent on each other, right? And both are happening at the same time. So what is our objective? That we have to understand both the light reaction as well as the dark reaction. All right, so another thing which we have discussed, that light reaction is what? It is a photochemical reaction. Why? Because it is happening in presence of light, as well as there will be changes to the chemical form. All right, and in dark reaction, what is going to happen, there will be some synthesis, or that's why we have given the name biosynthetic pathway. Okay, so dark reaction is what? It is a biosynthetic pathway, and it is a photochemical pathway, right? Now comes to the site. So where this light reaction is going to happen and where this dark reaction. So here, if I will recall the whole structure of this chloroplast here, we know that chloroplast is one of the cell organelle which is present inside the cell. Okay, and what type of the cell which is present in the plants? That is the mesophyll cell. So inside the mesophyll cells, you have done that there is a chloroplast. For example, this is a plant, and here you can see one of the cell organelle, that is the chloroplast. Okay, and inside this chloroplast, I have drawn very in a larger view. So inside this chloroplast, you know that there are some, this stack-like structure is present. And what you have given the name? Thylakoid. Each unit it is known as a thylakoid, and the whole structure it is known as the granum. So all these are connected with the help of the stroma lamellae. Okay. Then there will be another stack. There will be another stack. So what is going to happen here? There will be a stacking of these thylakoids. And this thylakoid is the site for the photosynthesis. So the exact photosynthesis will start from where? From this membrane. Okay, now if I will go for the zoom structure of this part only, okay, if I am taking this part from here, for example, these are the thylakoids which I have, which I am drawing with the red marker. So what is going to happen here, that this part I have taken one of the thylakoid from these tags. So how you will see the structure like this, okay, and this part having some membrane also. And we know that one more important thing, that this chloroplast is a double membranous structure. Okay, so chloroplast is what? It is a double membranous structure outside the cell, right? So here, as I will take the thylakoids from here, this thylakoid having some membrane also. Okay, this thylakoid having some membrane also. So whatever the light reaction will take place, it will take place in the membrane of thylakoids. Okay, you have to memorize that where it is happening, this light reaction. So as the light will come from here, okay, as light will come here, so where it will trapped into this membrane of the thylakoids. So in this membrane of thylakoids, we have done about the photosystem. So the next step which we have discussed about the photosystem. And we know that there are two types of photosystem. What are they? PS2. There are two types of photosystem, PS2 and PS1. What does it mean? Photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. Why we are not writing photosystem 1 and 2? Because the process of working will be there as first the light will go towards the PS2, then it will go to the PS1. Okay, the name indicates only that the discovery of PS1 will be earlier. That's why we have given the name PS1. But the mechanism which is happening in this photosynthesis is just reverse, right? So what is going to happen? The light which is coming from the sun, okay, it get trapped into the membrane of the thylakoids. In the membrane of thylakoids, two photosystems are there. What are these two photosystems? PS2 and PS1, right? And in this photosystem 2 and this photosystem, what is happening? There will be the splitting of water molecules. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm drawing the whole structure of what? Of the thylakoid membrane, which I have drawn here in a very smaller form. So here what is happening, that this is whole thylakoids. Don't relate it with the chloroplast. Okay, this is the thing which is present inside the chloroplast. So in this thylakoid, there is a membranous structure, and we have done that in this membranous structure, what is there? Two photosystems are there. What are these two photosystems? Again, I am writing here PS2 and PS1, right? So PS2 and PS1 is present here. From here, light is coming, and we know that what is the capability of PS2, what type of wavelength it is going to absorb here. Okay, we are having two wavelength, that is 680 nanometer and 700 nanometer. If I will talk about the PS2, okay, so if the wavelength which is coming P680, okay, 680 nanometer will reach here, it will get absorbed by the PS2, because PS1 is able to absorb what type of wavelength? 700 nanometer. Okay, so as this wavelength will come from here, and it will get trapped into the PS2, and this photosystem contains P680, right? Now, as the light will come here, there will be the breakdown of water molecules. We know that water is there. So what is going to happen? This water molecule will get splitted into what? Into the H positive plus OH negative ions. Along with this, there will be electron. Okay, so we can say that what is going to happen? Water, then this OH, or we can say it will give the oxygen also, because we have done that whatever the oxygen which is coming from there, okay, it is coming from the splitting of water molecule. So we can say that how many hydrogen molecules is going to happen here, or the O2 molecules. right? So this much product it is coming from the water molecule. So here how these are going to help in this reaction. So we can say it is what? It is a photolysis of water. Photo means relates to light, lysis means breakdown. So what is happening here? The breakdown of water molecule, and due to this breakdown of water molecule, what is happening? We are getting the proton, we are getting the oxygen, as well as we are getting the electron also. Okay, so if I will say here, if I will balance this equation, two water molecules and there will be 4 electron must be there. Okay, so like this we are having 4 proton also. So see how much proton is forming inside this membrane, and this is a membrane of what? This is a membrane of thylakoids. So from here we can relate 2 to 3 things. First thing, splitting of water molecule which is happening here inside the membrane. Okay, PS2 is present at the membrane, but the splitting takes place inside the membrane. Okay, now, or we can say towards the lumen. This structure is known as what? We can say cavity like structure, it is known as the lumen. So whatever they are forming their ions, they are forming in the lumen only. Okay, now as this photolysis will happen here, it will excite some electron also, because we know that electron are also coming from here. So this electron will get jump here, and we know that in the Z scheme we have done that when these electron get excited, okay, so it will be accepted by what? Primary electron acceptor. Okay, so what is there? When the electrons will get excited, so who will take this electron? The primary electron acceptor. So I'm drawing it one more here. So this is the primary electron acceptor. If I will repeat it here again, you can see that this is what? This is the PS2. This is the PS2. Now, if light will come from here, it is reaching into the PS2, and here are some antennas also. Okay, or we can say light harvesting complex. So these light harvesting complex, splitting of water, then the electrons will get excited. This electron will be taken by the primary electron acceptor. We have done this thing, primary electron acceptor. So this is what? This is the uphill of reaction. Now when they will excited, now what will happen? They will again come towards the ground level. Okay, so this reaction will be the downhill reaction. But how it is going to come in this downward side? So for that there is a system which is known as electron transport system. Okay, so whatever the reaction which is going to happen here between this thing, so what is this? It is a electron transport transfer system, or the electron transport chain. Okay, so now again what will happen? From this PS2, as electron accepted it, it will undergo some primary electron transport system, and this transport system contains 3 types of things. Okay, or we can say cytochromes are present here, which is responsible for the transportation of these electrons, right? So here what are these cytochromes? There are 3 things. What are they? First one, PQ, right? Then there is a cytochrome P5F6. Then there will be PC. So what is this PQ? Plastoquinone. And what is this PC? Plastocyanin, right? So from here, there are 3 things. What are they? First one, this one, PQ. Then another one, there is a cytochrome, and another one, PC. Okay, then we are getting the electrons in the ground state, right? As it will come here, there is another photosystem, that is photosystem 1. Okay, and this photosystem 1 also getting light from the sun, and how much wavelength it is taking? It is taking the 700 nanometer. Okay, so as this light will reach here, it will get trapped in this photosystem, and in this photosystem also they are having their we can say reaction center, that is chlorophyll A, as well as the light harvesting complexes, which will excite their electron also, and they will also get excited, and when they will get excited, the electron acceptor will take this excited electron. Okay, so 2 types of electron acceptors are there, which is present in PS2 as well as in PS1. So both having the same thing. So now what is the difference between these two? We will come to know here. We have done 3 electron transport system. After that, what it is going to do? When it will move towards the electron transport system. It will release what? It will release the energy here. So what we are going to synthesize here? ATP. Okay, ATP is nothing. ATP is the energy source. And from where it is forming this ATP? With the help of ADP. Okay, so when there will be addition of one phosphorus molecule, it will form the ATP molecule. So what we are forming here? ATP, right? Now again that we are having some NADPH. So after that we are getting the another energy molecule, that is the NADPH. So we can say that two things are we are getting from the whole Z scheme, that is NADPH as well as the ATP. So we can write it here that NADP will change into the NADPH. Okay, right? So this is also the energy currency. Now as it will move to the PS1, what is happening in this PS1? In this PS1, again electrons will get excited, again it will come downhill reaction through the again electron transport system, right? So here what is going to happen in this electron? There is no particular thing. So there will be the FD, okay? FC and ferrocyanide or the ferrodoxins are present, which will take this one and it will convert it into the another form. Okay, and from here we will get the ATP, right? So what we are getting? ATP as well as NADH from this Z scheme. So what is our motive from this Z scheme? To take the energy sources. Okay, so now what is going to happen here? There will be acceptance, and this ADP will changes into the ATP. So totally what we have done here in this Z scheme, that with the help of this two photo system we are getting the energy byproduct. Okay, so photo system is completed, electron transport system is completed, and we know that how many intermediate present in this electron transport system. Now comes to the splitting of water. So we will again come here, and what we are observing here? There will be a photolysis of water, and this photolysis of water is what? Splitting of water. So as the splitting of water will take place, electron will get excited and it will move towards the electron transport system. Ultimately it will reach into the PS1. PS1 will again get excited, and what they are forming? They are forming the energy. So done here. Now another point is photophosphorylation. Now split this term. Phosphorylation means addition of phosphorus molecule. Okay, and photo means light. So again, if you will see this whole step, what is happening here? There will be addition of phosphate molecule, right? So if ADP is forming the ATP, okay, ADP is what? Adenosine diphosphate, having phosphate to phosphate, and in it is converting into the ATP, that is having the adenosine triphosphate. Here we are having 3 phosphate molecule. So what is needed here? We need one inorganic phosphate. Okay, if you will see the reaction like this, ADP plus inorganic phosphate, then it is forming the ATP, right? So how this reaction will take place? The formation of this ATP from this inorganic phosphate, it is known as the phosphorylation, and when it is taking place in presence of light, it is known as the photophosphorylation. Okay, now we will understand that what is exactly happening in this photophosphorylation. There will be the oxidation of nutrients. Okay, oxidation, because most of the nutrients which is present in the plants, they are utilizing it and they are going to oxidize, and due to this oxidation, what we are getting? We are getting the ATP. So oxidation of the nutrients, which will give the ATP here, and this is known as the oxidative phosphorylation. Why? Because it is happening in presence of light, and it is increasing its phosphate. That's why we can say oxidative phosphorylation. Now comes to the point that how many types of photophosphorylation can be there. Okay, it can be non-cyclic as well as the cyclic form. When I'm talking about this non-cyclic, okay, what in this Z scheme you can see that there will be no formation of cycle. So what type of scheme it is there? Z scheme. So this cycle is also known as the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, which is present in the thylakoid membrane. Okay, in a thylakoid membrane. And if I will talk about the cyclic photophosphorylation, it is happening in the stromal lamella. And what are the stromal lamella? We have done that these things which are connecting these stacks, Okay, so again it is like a thylakoid, but they are not stacked together. Okay, so what is happening here? There is only single thylakoid, and this single thylakoid, it is known as the stromal thylakoids. Why? Because it is present in the stroma of the chloroplast. And these are what type of thylakoids? They are the granule thylakoids. Okay, two types of thylakoids, granule thylakoids as well as the stromal thylakoids. And the stromal thylakoids are also known as the stromal lamellae, right? So in the stromal lamellae, what type of phosphorylation will take place? Cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay, now here I have drawn one structure, cyclic photophosphorylation. We have done what is non-cyclic. Okay, again in whole non-cyclic, we are adding this phosphate molecule, right, and forming the ATP. So again and again what we are getting? We are getting this ATP. But so what are the differences between this cyclic and non-cyclic? In non-cyclic photophosphorylation, we are having two photosystem. Okay, the first difference is what? That they are having two type of photosystem, photosystem 2 and photosystem 1, and we can mention the wavelength also. If I will see the cyclic phosphorylation, it is having only one type of photosystem, that is PS1. And we know that the PS1 having the tendency to absorb what type of wavelength? 700 nanometer. If 700 nanometer of wavelength it is coming from the light, so it will get trapped into the chlorophyll A of the photosystem 1. Okay, so wherever you can see either it is a photosystem 2 or photosystem 1, which is the main reaction center? Only the chlorophyll A, and they are having some light harvesting complex which are helping this chlorophyll A to get excited, right? And at the same time there will be a splitting of water molecule. So here what is going to happen in this cyclic phosphorylation? Only one photosystem will work here, that is the photosystem 1, and this photosystem contains chlorophyll A, and chlorophyll A of which type? P700 type. Okay, light will trapped here, they will excite their electrons will get excited and it will get accepted by the electron acceptor. Okay, so electron acceptor again will be there. Again, as it will go to the uphill, it will come back to the downhill also. So in the while coming to the downhill, what is happening? It will enter into the electron transport system. Okay, and what type of electron transport system? ADP, or we can say FD, ferredoxin or ferrocyanine. Like this, the compound, they will accept it and it will move towards the electron transport system. As a result, there will be release of the ATP molecule. So here both ADP and NADPH we are getting from the non-cyclic phosphorylation. Here we are getting only ATP. So these are the two differences between the cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation, right? And most of the plants, what type of PS photosystem is following? The PS, we can say the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, right? So that much we have done. It's completed non-cyclic photophosphorylation, then cyclic, where it is going to happen in the stromal lamella, right? Now comes to that chemiosmotic hypothesis. What do you understand by chemiosmotic hypothesis? Whatever it is happening during this photosynthesis, it follow this hypothesis, which says that osmotic means something which is moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration, right? We know about the osmosis, in which we are discussing about the movement of solvent through the semi-permeable membrane from its higher concentration to lower concentration. So the word which will relate here, the from its higher concentration to its lower concentration. And here we are talking about the chemical means, or relates to the chemical. So what type of movement of these chemicals, right? So again, if you will see here in this part, what it is the membrane of the thylakoids. What there are two types of reactions, light reaction and dark reaction. This form is what? Light reaction, and this membrane outward to it, if you will see the whole structure, because outside this there is a chloroplast, so inside this chloroplast some matrix is present, which is known as what? It is known as the stroma. So we can say the outward membrane, the outward environment is of stroma, and inside there is a lumen, and here you can see this membrane of thylakoids. So whole process will remain same. As it will come here, it will follow the light reaction. in this light reaction, the electron will get excited from PS2 and it will move towards into the another photosystem, that is photosystem 1, right? Along with this, there will be a splitting of water molecule which will take place inside this or towards the lumen. What we can say? Towards the lumen, because already and the light get trapped into the outer membrane. So due to this splitting, it will release some ions. And what type of ions they are releasing? The proton. What do you call this? H positive. This is nothing. This is the proton. You can say hydrogen ion as well as the proton. So due to the splitting, there will be a accumulation of this proton inside this lumen, right? At the same time, you can see that there will be some formation of NADPH from NADP. NADP will give to the NADPH, right? Now, one more important thing which we have to discuss here in this chemiosmotic hypothesis, that there is a ATP synthetase enzyme. ATP synthetase enzyme relates to what? It is helpful for forming the ATP, and we know that when there will be a splitting of water molecule, what is going to happen? There will be release of ATP molecule. Okay, so from here you can say that this ATP synthetase, what it will form? It will form some type of structure. What we will call it? CF0 and CF0. Okay, this ATP synthetase having two structure, that is CF0 and CF, or we can say CF0 also as well as CF1. So how this CF0, where it is present and where the CF1 is present. So if I will draw this membrane somehow thick, so what we can see here, if I will draw this membrane thick here, you can observe that this CF0 part, okay, the thing which is embedded in this membrane, this part is known as what? This particular part, it is known as CF0. I'm drawing with another pen. This is CF0, and the part which is protruding out from this membrane, this is known as CF1. Right? So two things are there. So what is the function of the CF0 and CF1? This is helpful for the facilitated diffusion of the proton which is producing inside the lumen. So more light will come, then there will be more splitting of water, then it will give more proton, where it is providing more proton inside this lumen. So as they will produce more and more proton inside this one, what will happen? The concentration of proton will get increased, and due to this increase, what it will do? It will release some proton from this lumen towards the stroma through this membrane of thylakoids. Okay, so with the help of this membrane, it will not get we can say transfer from the lumen to the stroma. So it needs some facilitator, and this CF0 and CF1 will act as a facilitator diffusion. And what is diffusion? Again, from its higher concentration to lower concentration. So here, as there will be more splitting of water, we will get more proton inside this lumen. Okay, so this accumulation of proton, it should be go outwards. Okay, when it will go outwards, what will happen? It will release energy in form of ATP with the help of ADP, because phosphorylation is also going to happen. Okay, so all the things are taking place at the same time. Here, splitting of water, it will release proton and it will send through this we can say ATP synthetase enzyme or the CF0 and CF1, and it will release proton towards the stroma. Okay, and stroma is what? Stroma is the matrix of the chloroplast, right? Now this is the thing which we have done, that proton has come here. Now another thing, from where this NADPH is coming, we know that there is NADP. So these water molecules which is producing here, they will reach where? To this NADP. Okay, when it will reach towards the NADP, it will add one hydrogen to this NADP and it will form the NADPH. Okay, so from here we are getting the NADPH. So we can say that what is going to happen here? There will be addition of hydrogen with the help of this proton. So what type of reaction? There will be some reduction reaction, right? So in this reduction reaction, we have done that addition of this hydrogen ion in this NADP, and if water molecules will not get splitted, then we will not get NADP. NADPH, and this is the ultimate thing which we require, because this NADPH will go towards the stroma for the synthesis of the glucose, and the main aim of this glucose molecule is what? To form the glucose molecule as well to release the oxygen. Okay, and proton will get moved towards the stroma. So what about the oxygen? Oxygen will go outside the environment from the plant. So this is the whole process which is going to happen in the membrane, or we can say it is a light reaction. So now as it will reach here in this stroma, what type of reaction will take place? Dark reaction. Okay, so whatever the ATP is coming from here, okay, NADPH is coming from here, both will combine, and CO2 which is coming from the outside to the plant. The source of CO2 can be the stomata, because through the stomata the CO2 will enter inside the leaves, as well as the mitochondria which is present inside the mesophyll cell or the plant cell. They are also responsible for giving the CO2. Okay, so there will be accumulation of CO2. So this CO2 will get combined with this ATP and this NADPH, and what it will form? It will form glucose molecule. And now we know that glucose was C6H12O6. Okay, so carbon we are having 6 carbon, 12 H and O6. So we know that what is the source of this carbon, we know that what is the source of this oxygen. Oxygen is from where? From this breakdown of CO2. We know that this breakdown of water molecules will give more and more oxygen, right? And this carbon, we know that there are some carbon molecules and hydrogen after the splitting of this water. Okay, we have to combine all these and we have to synthesize this glucose molecule in the dark reaction, and this dark reaction is going to happen in the stroma of the chloroplast. So wholly we can conclude that from this chemiosmotic hypothesis, what we are saying, that if the concentration of proton will get accumulated inside the lumen, they will try to move outwards, and when they will outwards, they need some facilitator, and these F0, CF0 and CF1 will act as a facilitator, and it will release outside. So the maintenance of this proton will get neutralized in this whole hypothesis, right? So two things are there. Hydrogen proton is coming from here also, as well as from this NADPH also. Okay, now we will understand that what is the thing which is going to follow in this dark reaction. So in this dark reaction, how we can form the glucose. So we are having two types of plant, that is the C3 plants, and another one is the C4 plants. Okay, so which we'll discuss in the next class. But here just a simple thing, why we are saying C3 plants and C4 plants. While the accepting this CO2, okay, or we can say while accepting all these carbon dioxide which is coming from outside, the first stable product which is going to happen, it can be what? It can be this 3 carbon compound, that is PGA. So in C3 plants, there will be formation of PGA, phosphoglyceric acid, or we can say phosphoglyceraldehyde, right? So in case of CO4 plants, the first stable compound will be the 4 carbon compound, that is oxaloacetic acid. And here this name is given by the Melvin Calvin, and that's why the C3 plants or the C3 cycle, it is known as the Calvin cycle, right? So Calvin cycle is what? Given by the Melvin Calvin, and the first time he proved this one in the C3 plants, but later on he came to know that there may be some more different types of plants, whether it is happening the same process in this another plant also. But later on he found that there are some plants, they are having some different anatomy. On the basis of their anatomy, they are forming 4 carbon compound, and he gave the name the C4 plant. So we will understand that what is C3 cycle and what is C4 cycle, and in both the cycles, or when we will discuss about the C3 cycle, what is required? We require the CO2. These are the basic requirements, ATP and NADPH, right? And whole process will form in the dark in the stroma. This is a site for the dark reaction, and it will synthesize the glucose molecule. Okay, so in next class we will discuss about the Calvin cycle. So that's all for today. Thank you.